Nintendo! Why does it feel that anytime that Nintendo does anything to take a step forward, it takes 3 steps back? The Switch is looking to outsell the PS2 at least at some point in the future, even if it's not during its exact lifetime, it still is moving upwards to even outsell the PS2. But however, Nintendo had a better online service on the Wii U, and they could have just brought that system over to the Switch. Instead, they go with a whole new thing, and it's gradually inferior to what the Wii U did. Now, that's just a brief example of Nintendo on how they fuck up everything that they tend to do. They always do something positive, and then they'll do something negative immediately after. And this recent news is nothing different. So Yuzu, now this is something I heard about from Steam Deck, because they actually let you use this, and you basically play Switch games on there. You know, like Mood Heart, for example, plays Xenoblade 3 on there. That's just a little example I'll throw out there. So that was something that was really cool, and it was, I think, aligned with Citra, or at least I saw that through a little image that I'll use later whenever I talk about Yuzu's statement on something that involving them, because they got taken to the Supreme Court of all places over emulation. Nintendo's always had a bit of a thing when it comes to the content around their things, not only just in emulation. Now, I know the argument can be made that it is piracy. I don't think it is, legally speaking. It's still legally incorrect, I guess, in more than what you would think, but overall I wouldn't still say it's direct piracy. Because in terms of how you emulate games, you have to dump a game's ROM online through a little code, in which I think you have to buy a game, don't you, at least? But not only with that, with just content in general, like with content creation. So, back then, I don't know if they still have it to this day, but back in the day, they had a little thing called the Partner Program, which was a way of streaming or just playing their first-party games for YouTube, or just whatever you're using it for. But at this point, it's just like, if it does still exist, you're not doing it, because it's probably one of the dumbest ideas you could ever do. Why would you sign up? Because they don't even give you the revenue that would be fair for what you're making.
Got an email from Nintendo. We got paid an entire penny.
Oh my god.
An entire 1 cent. You're reading this, right?
I am.
Nintendo of America Incorporated has sent you, us, 1 cent. We did it. We did it.
Oh my god.
All right.
Yes.
Live streaming, for me at least, because I do sometimes go into a stream. While I wouldn't say I'm so parasocial that I'm like those weirdos you'll see on like Twitter or whatever, I will also say I do get a little bit parasocial in terms of like, oh yeah, I'd like to shout at this person. So yeah, and then you think of it like this: live streaming. Okay, you invite your friends over and you play a new game. Then instead of them just watching that content, if you just made like a video and upload it, they're on there on the stream and they get to communicate with you and then see how your reaction is to the game and figure out how you feel about it just in general as well. Wouldn't that kind of influence you in a way to where it's like, oh yeah, then they'll be playing that, they'll probably try to buy that. I feel like with emulation, it also is a little bit more like that as well, because then they can emulate it if they have it legally, and then bam, there you go. And also, emulation, like, let's take them like PC. You can mod your games a little bit. And it's like, oh, that looks so fun. So where maybe they'll want to buy the game, because, like I said, I think you have to buy the game for it to be actually emulated in a legal fashion. So they could buy the game, and then they could do that, and then it'd make you more money in terms of people that just either don't care about it and want to play the game. Then they can just do that and have fun. Or just people, or, you know, well, basically same thing for what I was about to say about those people that do that as well. But just seeing that how others experience it in other ways, even if it is emulated, it might influence them to try to buy it, and that seems like it'd put more money in Nintendo's pocket, but what do I know, I guess. There's so much involving like the internet in general that it's kind of mind-boggling to me that Nintendo hasn't understood, but especially for something like this, whenever it could just put really just so much money in their pockets. Especially nowadays, where it seems like the Switch is at the end of its lifespan, and also they could just want to go out and just buy a Switch in general, because they're just kind of not big on Nintendo games. And also the leaks of a Switch 2, you would think that they would also, especially not right now, want to try to do some really smart business decisions to want to make that more money for their next console. And for content creation, that's probably the easiest way for them. to do that. Like, for example, Point Crowd, they took down his video for multiplayer Tears of the Kingdom, and it's just like, that makes it seem a little bit more fun, because then even if they don't want to do the multiplayer and it just looks fun anyway, then they'd be like, oh yeah, I gotta go get that Tears of the Kingdom. But then for people that do want to play it and want that experience, they could still play it through something like a mod, which is only PC related. Then yeah, they could just go out and buy the game and then play it on that, and you're still technically making money. Maybe you're not making the 300 or 350 depending on which Switch, or the 200 based on which model of the Switch you get. They're still technically getting the game, so you technically get more money in your pockets, as I keep saying. Also, just a little side note, something that made me want to get Tears of the Kingdom very badly was a little mod involving Pora. You already know which mod that is. I'm not even gonna tell you. You'll see it through an image. But wait, there was more. The reason that this video is even being made is because of the fattest L that Nintendo could possibly take. So this statement comes directly from Yuzu on Twitter. Hello users and Citra fans. We write today to inform you that Yuzu and Yuzu's support of Citra are being discontinued, effective immediately. Yuzu and its team have always been against piracy. We started the projects in good faith out of passion for Nintendo and its consoles and games, and we're not intending to cause harm. But we can now see that because our projects can circumvent Nintendo's technological protection measures and allow users to play games outside of authorized hardware, they have led to extensive piracy in particular. We have been deeply disappointed when users have used our software to link I'm struggling today to leak game content prior to its release and ruin the experience for legitimate purchasers and fans. We have come to the decision that we cannot continue to allow this to occur. Piracy was never our intention, and we believe that piracy of video game consoles should end. Effective today, we will be pulling our code repositories offline, discontinuing our Patreon accounts and Discord servers, and soon shutting down our websites. We hope our actions will be a small step toward ending piracy of all creators' works. Thank you for your years of support and for understanding our decision. We're in a constant teeter-totter between Nintendo's W's and L's, and it's kind of sad because I feel like those L's are actually so big that it just kind of knocks them down a whole lot of pegs for me personally. And I'm just hoping that maybe whenever it comes out of the Switch 2 or whatever they do in the future, that their future just starts looking a lot better, because as of late it's just been nothing but constant L's besides really just their games, I guess. I don't think I've really seen too many Nintendo W's besides that one from a couple of months ago where they used a Switch to track down an abducted child. It's just like me growing up, I didn't really have a console growing up. I had handhelds mostly. The only console I really did have it wasn't mine, but still I had an Xbox 360 because everybody had an Xbox 360. But in terms of just something that was just really me, even though it wasn't mine, I still technically had a Wii in my room, always able to play it whenever I wanted to, so I guess it kind of was mine, I just didn't buy it. In terms of stuff that was just mine in general, I had a DS, 2DS, because it was just $80, and it had Mario Bros. 2 on there. And really a PSP, and now, on my own, I just actually bought myself a Switch, which makes it my first console, and I will not lie. The Switch is definitely my favorite console of all time. It's really changed my perspective on gaming. I'll make that into a video one day on my thoughts on the Switch. Probably whenever it's pretty much the final days of the Switch, to be honest. But, yeah, so anyways, I'm pretty much done with this video. I've gone over everything I want to go about, from the history of some of their L's versus what we're doing right now. And, yeah, it definitely does suck. But you know something that doesn't suck? What I'm about to go do with my life for a little bit. I'm about to go factor some 2D Rule 34, and I'll see you next time. That's about it, but of course, as always, I hope y'all have a damn good one, and take care of yourselves.